Samantha, how are you? Nice to see you.
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. Speaking to you from Toronto, Canada.
Oh, give it my love.
Let's just go there. I mean, Murdoch Mysteries, great memories.
Really? Now I've got a sign. Oh, it says that's all right, fine. I've just got you're saying you're recording it. I've got a dear, dear cousin in Toronto. I've got a very elderly uncle. And because of COVID, I haven't been there since probably spring 19.
Oh, wow. Well, we have to have you back then.
Yeah.
Yeah. All
Then
right.
when I got offered whatever it's called that you just said, uh, and my agent went, is this of any interest? I went, it so is of interest. I
Yeah.
loved Toronto. I think it's a beautiful city.
Well, we love having you. So, open arms, my friend. You're welcome back
Thanks.
anytime. We'd love to have you. Congratulations on this one. My goodness. What I love so much about you, Samantha, is you'd love to mix it up. You do, so many different things. This one, I mean, who doesn't love a good thriller? Is this a genre that you really secretly may love more than doing something like a Downton Abbey?
Well, to be honest, I was just thinking about this, and I don't really do thrillers.
Yes, exactly.
I don't like my heart racing, but in the last 4 years, I should think this is the fourth I've done.
Yeah.
And it's very different, and it's very different to make. Because they're more technical.
Yeah.
So a love story or even normal dramas, but thrillers are very specific. And I have to say, I think they've done a brilliant job with this. I think Samantha Lee Howe's done a brilliant adaptation of her own book.
Yes.
I think, oh, where's his name gone? Giles Alderson directed it beautifully.
Yeah.
DOP, who sadly, his name I can't remember. I think it's beautifully shot. Excuse me.
That's okay.
And it's not a small budget film, but it was a lowish budget film.
Right.
When you watch it, it simply doesn't look like that.
No, I agree with you. Yeah. And you're right. And it feels that way too, like a larger scale. But you mentioned something was interesting to me because you said it's like a different beast when you're shooting it. In what way is that different for you? Like how you're such a seasoned veteran. You've been doing this acting thing for many, many years, my friend.
Yes,
Although you
I
look
have.
25. You look 25, I got to tell you. So I don't know how you do it. But why is this genre different? Is it more of a challenge for you? Tell me about that.
They're all a challenge. And I think the big thing in my book is that you always have to find the truth in the situation. And that doesn't change whether it's comedy, high drama, thrillers, horrors. You're trying to make something as truthful as you can.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the really interesting things about this film, is that is everyone's intention. There's no one who's playing anything that isn't truth.
Right.
And it's
Yeah.
an amazing company.
Yeah. And also having the bonus of the woman who wrote this book, and
Yeah.
it did so well, obviously very popular, but then she writes the screenplay. How much of a bonus is that for you as an actor? Like, can you go to her and discuss things? Tell me about that because you don't always often have that luxury.
No, interestingly, the script is so strong that we didn't have many of those discussions because you couldn't. I never felt, oh, this could be different or that could be better written or, and Samantha was there the entire time.
Right.
Or a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny. There's two Samanthas in the room.
That's right.
Yeah. No, I think it's also what's interesting to say is it's not always the best person to do the adaptation. Sometimes a fresh set of eyes can bring something new. And I think that's why Samantha's done such a great job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. You're right. But because sometimes the author is so close to the text, they don't want to leave things out or, it's like their baby, right? They don't want to mess with it. But in this case, I think it worked out really well. What was it about this character, Isadora? Like, I mean, everybody, there's so many mysteries and it's like a roller coaster. You don't want to give anything away because at every turn there's something that happens, right? But for you to be in this and to choose to play this character, what kind of was it about her that you thought, yeah, I want to take this one on?
Well, I think the interesting thing actually about all the characters is that every character has its secret. And the character that you initially meet is not the character who you will eventually discover. And that's as true of Isadora as it is of any of the others.
Yeah, that's true. That very, very good point. And
I
working with
found it,
this,
I mean, I'm sorry,
no, no, go
I
ahead.
don't really watch, as I say, I don't watch thrillers because I don't like the sensation of my heart racing.
I'm
But
with you.
I did think this one was really compelling, and I
Yeah.
think the twists and turns are brilliantly done.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. And then working with this, you know, up and coming young, bright cast must have been so refreshing for
Yep.
you too.
It was so sweet because we were in one lockdown or another. And so Emily and Ben, who are the two leads, are a married couple, playing a married couple.
Yeah.
Which their masks came off a bit quicker than anyone else's. And it's really dear because their marriage in the film is tricky.
Yeah.
It's a really tricky relationship. And then you'd turn around at lunch and they'd be sitting there being funny and laughing and loving and looking after, I think the baby was 4 months old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hands full, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh my God, good for them. Well, they did a really great job. You know, I wanted to ask you, you, like I said earlier, you've done so many great things in your career. Like when you look back and, you know, you started on the stage, you've worked with so many amazing people. I mean, oh my gosh. What was the role for you, Samantha, that kind of just changed your life and brought you in this, you know, this direction?
I can be very specific.
Okay.
About 24 years old. And as you say, I'd been working my way through what we called rep then. I had been lucky enough to do 3 TVs in what I called the summer holidays. So when the reps closed for the summer, I would go off and I did 2 BBC series and a classic play.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, when I was about 24, Kenneth Branagh was trying to cast his Juliet. He had wanted to do Romeo and Juliet at the RSC. And amazingly, Ken was only 25, it has to be said. The RSC said, no, we're not doing Romeo and Juliet. So Ken went, well, I'll do my own.
Yeah.
And I was put forward to see him. And we did it at a tiny studio theatre in West London. But because Ken was in it, the world and his wife came to see it. And it was on the back of that production that I then got my first proper lead on television in something called The Tree.
Yeah.
I got my first West End play. And that's when it all changed. So I spent a lot of my life saying, thank you, Sir Ken.
Yes. Yes. Thank you, Sir Ken. I one of my top favorite directors last year at the Toronto Film Festival, of course, Belfast, which was, I mean, everything that guy touches is amazing, but that's wonderful that you remember that and, you know, and always thank him for that, which is lovely. I always think that's so amazing. And then going forward, all the amazing roles that you've had, like to be in Bond films. I mean, you know, your name isn't Samantha Bond for nothing, right?
Well, I didn't get the part for nothing.
I know.
But if you think about the publicity,
yeah, but to work with Pierce,
Samantha Smith, Samantha Bond.
Yes, right, for sure. But to work with Pierce in those films, and you know, I always liked him as Bond. You know, and to have that opportunity, and then to play such an iconic role like Moneypenny, like wow, that's pretty special.
It was special,
yeah,
and he is an absolutely darling man.
Yeah.
But it always makes me laugh a little while Bond is being discussed that if you put all 4 films together, it's still the smallest part I've ever played. But it was fun.
Yeah, listen, as long as it was fun. And then, of course, I cannot leave you today without addressing Downton Abbey, because seriously, one of my favorite series ever, and the films and everything. And just for you to have that, again, working with so many amazing people, but the scenes with Maggie Smith, I mean, come on, seriously, really?
I know. The funny thing about joining Downton is that with the exception of, oh, no, not all of Downstairs. So there were so many people that I'd worked with before.
Yes.
So I an Edward Albee play called Three Tall Women with Maggie. I'd worked with Phyllis. I'd worked with, did I work with Jim or did I just know Jim? Elizabeth and I had done a stage play together. So for me, it was like you go in and you go, hello, everybody.
Right. Old Home Week. It's great. It's like a reunion. Yeah. Well, listen, I have to say those films are huge here in Canada. I just hosted a Q&A a couple months ago with a couple of it was so much fun. But it's always so much fun to see you and everything. I love you in this thriller, and thank you for that. And, like you said, you promised you got to come here to Toronto and come back and visit, and maybe we'll have a cup of tea together. That would be lovely.
That would be lovely.
Thank you so much for your time. I really, really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you too, Samantha. Have a great day. Thank you.
Toronto, my love.
It's happening 100%. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.